The Chinese Exclusion Act was one of the worst laws, one of the most horrible laws ever passed by the United States. One of the good things about democracy is we can recognize our mistakes and correct them. And so the Chinese Exclusion Act 80 years ago was repealed, and then in 2012, under the leadership of Judy Chu, the United States apologized for that law. And that would not have happened but for many of you and your activism. So I want all of you to understand the power that you have. As Hai-Pei mentioned, we saw discrimination happen against Asian Americans such as Sherry Chen when the government went after her, accused her of espionage and of being a spy. They turned her life upside down, and then she fought back, and not only were charges from her withdrawn, but eventually she got a settlement with the United States of over $1 million because that she was right and because of the help of some of the people here. We also saw the government go after professors in academia and other professors because they happen to be Asian. And so the Asian American caucus here, called CAPAC in Congress, we work with civil rights groups, and we lobbied and fought back against administration. They had, as you may have known, the China Initiative that in our view simply were targeting Americans and other folks in America simply because of their race. And we kept putting pressure on them. We held hearings, we did press conferences, we wrote op-eds, and this administration, to their credit, stopped the China Initiative, and that's in part because of the work of all of you. So I want you to understand that your activism matters, and I just want to say a little bit about what it's like to be a member of Congress. We're in 2-year legislative cycles. Every 2 years, I vote over 1,000 times, either on the floor or in committee. And in most of those votes, I'd say 80 to 90% of those votes, I don't get a single phone call, email, meeting. So when you come up to Capitol Hill, when you go lobby your members of Congress or U.S. senators, it is very important because it causes us and our staffs to go, hey, why is this issue so important? And because we deal with so many issues here, I'm very aware of the Chinese Exclusion Act. I know all of you are very aware. But many members of Congress are dealing with lots of issues. Ukraine, with issues in their district, with other issues in world affairs. And I guarantee you, many of them may have no idea that this is the 80th anniversary of the repeal of the Chinese Exclusion Act. And many of them may have no idea that many states are now doing what I call Chinese Exclusion Act version 2.0, where they're preventing folks who happen to be Asian from purchasing or selling land. And the problem with those hateful laws, such as the one that Florida has passed, is that Asian Americans now will get caught up in it. So anyone that looks like you and me or has an Asian surname is going to be put under higher scrutiny by realtors, by the banking industry, by their entire process related to purchasing and selling land. And that is going to cause hardship to Americans who happen to be Asian. And that's why we have to fight back against these hateful laws. I'm so pleased that all of you are working on that issue. And let me just conclude on some hopeful news. The last 2 U.S. Census reports show that Asian Americans are the fastest rising ethnic group in America. Asian Americans have more than doubled in size in the last 2 decades. And now there's Asian Americans not just in California and New York, but enough in presidential swing states, such as Arizona and Nevada. That's causing both political parties to now reach out to Asian American voters, and that's a very good thing. And let me just finish about some things that you could do. Understand that lots of folks, for example, write letters to the editor, but many of them are the same folks. So if you start writing in, you can start getting published and changing hearts and minds. You can do social media. It is free. If you write an interesting post, maybe it will affect someone in Florida or Ohio or Nevada. Think also about working on campaigns of any issues that you're interested in. And lastly, just get people registered to vote. Get your family and friends registered to vote. For those of us who are elected officials or those who have worked in campaigns, you know that during campaigning, if you're not registered to vote, you literally get ignored. You don't get a single phone call, a single mailer, a single contact. So simply getting lots of Asian Americans registered to vote causes elected officials to go, oh, now we have to reach out to this group of people, and that will help the community. So look forward to working with all of you as we continue to make America an even better place to live, work, and play.